Hello, hi, and welcome to this episode of the Mandy Meyer podcast. As per usual, this is the podcast where we chat all about your health and fat loss expedition, you achieving the goals that you set for yourself, you seeing progress on your health and fat loss expedition, and you just never giving up on yourself. This is the podcast where I use my 40 kilogram fat loss as an example to prove to you that if I could do it, so can you. But I also use all the strategies that I implemented to lose those 40 kilograms and to maintain that 40 kilogram loss, where I chat about all of those tips to give you the advice that you need to get started on your health and fat loss expedition, or to continue pushing forward on that expedition and to see continued progress. As I've mentioned in the past before, this is not me just thumb-sucking some random thing saying, do this and lose weight. Absolutely not. This is me saying, hey, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I too have been through the struggle. I too face the struggles on a daily basis. I too had a full-time office job. I too struggled to, lose fat and to maintain that loss. But this is what I did, and I managed to do it. And if I can fucking do it, then absolutely every single one of you out there can do it as well. At the end of the day, right, it doesn't matter what your goals are, it doesn't matter what you are working on, but at the end of the day, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you just have to believe in yourselves. And I know that sounds so fucking cliche, but it really is the starting point for all the success coming your way. Because if you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, guess what? You're probably not going to do it because now you believe that you can't do it. Whereas if you listening to this, you watching this, if you believe in yourself and you actually tell yourself on a regular basis that you can do the difficult things, that's already you working on a shifted mindset. And that oftentimes is the shifted mindset is the thing that you need to kickstart all the progress that is coming your way. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to chat about in this episode of this podcast. What I wanted to chat about is I want to give you 6 tips that are going to help you stay on track with your health and fat loss expedition when you are going through a very stressful period. Because I know what happens. All of a sudden, when life gets a little bit stressful, what falls short? Where do you fall short? Where do you drop the ball on your health and fat loss expedition? That's what you do. Those healthy habits you've been trying to create, the moment a stressful situation arises, oftentimes as humans, we put that healthy habit creation to one side. We put the health and fat loss expedition to one side because, you know what, now it's just not the right time. It's too stressful. But at the end of the day, if you want to see progress, you have to create consistency. You have to be consistent in what you are doing. So now how do you move forward through those very stressful periods and still create consistency? Because like I said, at the end of the day, consistency is key. And life is always going to throw us some stressful periods. I know that. I have my fair share of stressful periods, and I'm currently going through a stressful period that feels like it's a never-ending stressful period. But again, how do I manage that, and how do you push forward through your stressful periods so that you can continue to create consistency and not just chuck it in the fuck it bucket until next year? So let's get into those 6 tips. Okay, number 1, focus on the very basic healthy habits. You don't need to be overwhelming yourself. You don't need to be smashing out 50 million habits every single day, healthy habits for that matter. Focus on the very basics. Now, the very basics might look very different to everyone, okay? You as an individual, you need to figure out what the basics are and what you can currently control within your stressful situation, okay? So some people might turn to a vigorous exercise routine because that is going to be the thing that helps them get through a stressful situation. That might not be the thing that really helps you get through a stressful situation. So you're going to need to figure out what your very basics are, okay? So again, 1 or 2 or 3 things, very basic things. Maybe it's something like drinking your water. Maybe it's something like just logging your calories. Maybe it's something like just going for a 5-minute walk every single day or a 10-minute walk every single day. The very basics. Now, a lot of people will be, what is the point of doing the minimum amount of things, or what is the point of doing just the basics? The point is so that you can continue ticking boxes and you can continue creating consistency. You don't always need to be smashing everything left, right, and center to create consistency. You just have to be ticking those boxes. So you need to be smart about how you're setting those boxes up for yourself so that you can continue ticking them. And that brings me to the next point. Point number 2. Tweak your goals as needed. You don't always need to be smashing 15,000 steps per day. You don't always need to be going to the gym for an hour and a half every single day. You don't always need to be 100% dialed into your nutrition. And if during your stressful period, you feel like you can't do all of these things to, I want to say 100%, even though I don't necessarily like using that term, if you feel like you can't give it your absolute best, for example, because other areas of your life need to be priority, that's 100% fine. Tweak those goals of yours. So now, instead of doing 15,000 steps per day, what is the bare minimum that you feel comfortable with doing on a daily basis? Is it 5,000 steps? Is it 10,000 steps? Find a number that works for you, set that as your basic habit for the day. Or could it be something like, you know what, you're not going to be 100% dialed in on your nutrition, so you're not going to be overly pedantic about every morsel of food that you are eating. You're not going to be overly pedantic about hitting your calorie targets spot on every single day, but maybe, just maybe, you're going to tweak that nutritional goal to just log in your calories. Okay, now again, it removes a lot of the overwhelm. It doesn't place even more stress on you. You're removing some stress from your health and fat loss expedition side of things. So you can put priority on other areas of your life, but you're still ticking boxes in the background on your health and fat loss expedition, right? Because like I said, most people will just give up and be like, I can't do it now. It's just too much to handle right now. And then you just put an end to all of it. Whereas if you can say, let's focus on the basics, number one, the very basics. Number two, tweak those goals as needed. So anytime you're dealing with a very stressful situation during whatever phase it is in your life, what or where can you tweak those goals, right? Again, in a way that's not going to overwhelm you, but in a way that you can continue working on your consistency. You know what, the biggest thing, and I'm going to say this, and this might be a little bit of tough love, me calling a spade, but please don't fucking chuck it away every single time there's a little bit of a hurdle or a little bit of a speed bump or a little bit of a stressful moment. Here's the crazy thing, that's life. Life is stressful. You know, and I said to my mom the other day, and I very rarely get into I do get into a negative mindset, but I always snap out of it quite quickly. I try and force myself to snap out of it quite quickly. And I said to my mom the other day, I'm like, when are we going to catch a break? Like as a family, like when are we just going to fucking catch a break? Like, and just have a moment where we sit down and like everything's going according to plan. And my mom said to me, that's not how life works, right? Yes, it will be amazing if we can do that. She's like, but she just said to me, she's like, you know what? We need to be able to deal with stressful situations in life because that is life, you know? And, you know, that is the biggest thing for me is like, yes, this is life. Yes, there's going to be stressful situations, but you cannot just stop working on your goals every single time there is a stressful situation. Number three, and this has got to do with your nutrition, is simplify your meals. Okay, what I've actually seen, and I know a lot of people are going to laugh when I say this, but so many people tend to overcomplicate their meals that is something so stressful on its own already. So many people will be scrolling through social media and be like, oh, this fancy recipe. Oh, this fancy recipe. Oh, I need to eat 50 million different recipes on a regular basis. No, simplify your meals. Look at where you can remove the overwhelm when it comes to your health and fat loss expedition, because your health and fat loss expedition shouldn't be causing you more stress and more overwhelm. And a lot of the times when you're trying to think you're Gordina Ramsay in the fucking kitchen, trying to create blueberry, blackberry, raspberry currant flavored overnight oats that must set at 40 minus 30 degrees Celsius, that is already causing me stress as I'm saying it. Simplify your meals. Stick to the basics when it comes to your nutrition, and you will see that is already going to help you move forward from a nutritional perspective when you are dealing with stress in all other areas. Number four. Okay, now, like I said in the beginning of this episode of this podcast, many people might find a very sort of vigorous workout or intense workout programming. They might find that as a form of relieving stress or getting through a stressful period because of that exercise or that workout routine. A lot of people might not be at that point where you don't necessarily see your workouts as, you know what, I want to smash 5 workouts because it's going to help me, you know, become a little bit or deal with the stressful situations a little bit better. So if you're not currently at that point and, you know, the workouts seem daunting on their own, choose a basic relaxing workout for yourself, whether that is a walk around the park in the evening when you get home from work. Or maybe it's a dance workout video on YouTube, for example, right? You don't necessarily need to be smashing it out in the gym 7 days a week when you're going through a stressful period. Maybe something that is more calming, maybe meditation, maybe yoga, maybe going with a friend for a walk on the beach, if you live close by the beach for that matter, right? If you don't live by the beach, maybe in the mountains, if it's safe to do so, right? So again, pick an exercise that can help you relax. And if that is just a walk around the block in the evening after work, then go for that walk, right? But again, don't place pressure on yourself to be in the gym 7 days a week, smashing out an hour workout every single day. That causes more pressure and more stress and more overwhelm in your daily life. Number 5, something that a lot of people might not necessarily do when going through a stressful period, and I also know that it is something that is quite difficult to do when going through a stressful period, but number 5 is try and prioritize sleep as best as possible, okay? Easy? No. Is it necessary? Absolutely, right? So try and prioritize your sleep where possible, because that's really going to help you, I want to say, face the world in a little bit more of a calmer manner. I know, very difficult, because me, for one, when I'm very stressed, I fucking struggle to sleep, even though I do try and prioritize sleep. But I know that that's something that I do need to work on and find ways of prioritizing my sleep even a little bit more where possible, right? So that is number 5. Try and prioritize your sleep. And then number 6, this goes without saying, be kind to yourself. When you are going through a very stressful period, no matter what it is that life is throwing at you, be kind to yourself. We are only humans. We don't have a manual on how to navigate this thing called life. We don't know how to deal with things that are being thrown our way. We feel like we're tackling absolutely everything. So whatever you do, be kind to yourself. If there's a day where you overindulge in food, don't beat yourself up about it, okay? Continue moving forward and be kind to yourself, okay? Especially when you are going through a very stressful situation, okay? So again, like I said, you want to focus on those basics. You want to keep ticking those boxes in the background. You want to create that consistency, but you don't always need to be in push mode, right? You can take it down a gear, shift the gears to maybe a lower gear and put yourself into cruise mode. So what I mean by cruise mode is you're just ticking the basic boxes to get you through every single day to create that consistency within your health and fat loss expedition. Maybe your goals have been tweaked a little bit. Maybe your expectations have been tweaked a little bit. Your priorities have changed because now you're focusing on the stressful task at hand, whatever it is that is stressing you out, whatever it is that you're dealing with in that moment in time, right? So again, it always comes back to that one thing as well, is just be kind to yourself, because after any period of time, or whatever the period of time is, maybe you'll get to the point where you're not dealing with that thing that is so stressful anymore, and then you can put that car into 6th gear and you can push. You can go back into push mode and you can continue working on that consistency because you've got that power of momentum, because you didn't just totally stop working on it through that moment of stress. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you like I usually do. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep being kind to one another. Much love, your friend who also goes into cruise mode every once in a while. A lot more than people think. Mandy.